Hello learners, Namaskar. Welcome to the basic course in Assamese. Let's begin this class by counting up to 10 in Assamese. Ek, dui, tini, sari, pas, soy, hat, at, no, do. So how do we use these numerals to count objects? Can we just translate 3 fruits as tini fall into Assamese, where tini means 3 and fall means fruit? The answer is no. Usually we cannot use only the numerals to count objects in Assamese. They take some certain numeral suffixes to agree with the nouns they quantify. Let us try to know why the answer is no. To start with, let us see a few objects which are very familiar to us. Epa full, which means 1 flower. Tinita kol means 3 bananas. Pasta anguli means 5 fingers or 5 toes. Dohta fol means 10 fruits. Sarijon manu means 4 people. Nota kolom means 9 pens. Ejon lora means 1 boy. Ejoni swali means 1 girl. Dukhon ruti means 2 pieces of roti. Ejupa gos means 1 tree. Ekhila pan means 1 betel leaf. Duta goru means 2 cattle. Ekhon nodi means 1 river. Hatta cup means 7 cups. Tinidal rosi means 3 ropes. Duta rasta means 2 roads. Dudal lathi means 2 sticks. Atkhon kitab means 8 books. In each of these chunks, there is a numeral, right? And all the numerals have suffixes, namely pa, ta, zon, zoni, khon, zopa, khila, and dal. Please remember the 2 basic numerals, ek and dui, change into a and du in this kind of phrases. I mean, in the numeral plus noun phrases. For example, ek becomes a in eta, ejon, ekhon, edal, and ejupa, as in eta kotha, which means 1 thing, particularly speech. Ejon otithi, which means 1 guest. Ekhon ghor means 1 house. Ejupa kolgos means 1 banana tree. And edal rosi, which means 1 rope. Dui becomes du, as in duta, dujon, dukhon, dujupa, and dudal. Usually no such suffix is used with numerals quantifying toka, which means rupee, as in 5 toka means 5 rupees. And other counting units like time. For example, second, as in do second means 10 seconds. Minute, as in sari minute means 4 minutes. Hour, as in dui ghonta means 2 hours. Day, as in tini din means 3 days. Weeks, as in soy hopta means 6 weeks. Month, as in noma means 9 months. And year, as in ek bosor means 1 year. Now we will discuss here about the appropriate use of the suffixes ta, zon, khon, dal, zupa, pa, and khila, used in the phrases we have come across so far. Do you know what these suffixes are called? Classifiers. These suffixes are called classifiers. Classifiers categorize nouns based on their intrinsic and inherent characteristics. Their function is to classify nouns based on their abstractness and concreteness and beyond. I mean, in the case of concrete nouns, the criteria of classification are usually the humanness animacy, size, shape, structure, and sometimes the function of the nouns. Interestingly, classifiers are suffixed to the numerals quantifying the nouns. So they are called numeral classifiers while co-occurring with numerals. No doubt, these suffixes also co-occur with the classified nouns in Assamese. Then they are called noun classifiers. However, in such cases, they also function as definitives, which indicate the definiteness of the classified nouns. We discussed noun classifiers, that is, classifiers co-occurring with nouns that function as definitives as well in another video. Here, we discussed the basic numeral classifiers used in Assamese, namely ta, zon, khon, dal, zupa, pa, and khila. Let us see how these classifiers classify nouns. Now, we will try to find out the basis for classifying nouns using these suffixes. The classifier zone classifies noun based on the humanness. In simple words, the suffix zone classifies human, so it occurs with the numerals quantifying nouns indicating humans. In a more simple way, we can say that zone is used with numbers counting humans. For example, tinijon doctor means 3 doctors. Please note that zone is used to refer to male, whereas zoni is used to refer to female. For example, duzoni suali, which means 2 girls. Again, to refer to humans in formal and respectful manner, we also use the classifier goraki, regardless of different sex or gender, as in du goraki mohila, which means 2 ladies. Tini goraki shikkok, which means 3 teachers, and a goraki doctor, which means 1 doctor or a doctor. Khon refers to flat, thin, spread or broad objects such as sarikhon kahi, which means 4 plates. Ekhon ghor means 1 house. Dukhon cycle, which means 2 bicycles. Ekhon rajya means 1 state. Dal is used for long, thin, flexible or rigid objects like sticks, ropes, and hairs. Sometimes it is used for animate objects also, particularly for snakes. For example, nodal ba means 9 bamboos. Tinidal poka suli means 3 grey hairs. Edal fulor mala means 1 wreath of flowers. Zupa refers exclusively to plants, as in Azupa nemungos, which means 1 lemon tree. Duzupa nimgos, which means 2 neem trees. Pa is used exclusively to classify flowers, as in Epa gulab phul, which means 1 rose. Dupa zoba phul, which means 2 hibiscus flowers. Khila is used exclusively to classify leaves, as in Ekhila pan, which means 1 betel leaf. Ta is the most widely used classifier that encompasses a diverse noun such as all abstract nouns, all non-human animate nouns, all rounded, circular and cone-like small objects. For example, Sarita Bati means 4 bowls. Duta Kukura means 2 chickens. Eta Kukur means 1 dog. Pasta Mudra means 5 coins. Eta Hopun means 1 dream, and so on. A classifier shows the appropriate co-occurrence of a numeral with a noun. So it is a kind of grammatical agreement between the quantifying numeral and the quantified noun in a numeral plus noun phrase. This kind of agreement has been termed as an unusual agreement by some linguists. These classifiers are also called sortal classifiers that differentiate from mensural classifiers like gilas in a gilas means one glass, as in a gilas pani, which means a glass of water. Mensural classifiers are measure words or quantity words that function as units of measurement. We can take one more example, like tema in tini tema means 3 cans, as in tini tema saul, which means 3 cans of rice. However, the so-called mensural classifiers do not give the sense that sortal classifiers do. The difference between these two is that sortal classifiers inherently define the entity being counted, whereas mensural classifiers simply define a measurement applied to an entity. So basically, sortal classifiers classify countable nouns, whereas the so-called mensural classifiers help in counting uncountable nouns with the help of some kinds of units of measurement like a container in case of water, salt, milk, oil, etc. Let's see how mensural classifiers make sense. If we take the example eta laru means 1 laddu versus ek tema laru, which means 1 can of laddu, we can understand their difference. In these examples, the sortal classifier ta in the first example is replaced with the mensural classifier tema means can or container in the second example. This means mensural classifiers can take the role of sortal classifiers. However, the counted quantity may differ. There is a difference in the quantity between eta laru and ek tema laru. In 1 can of laddu, there may be more than just 1 laddu. Let us see how the number of objects is asked. While asking the number of objects, we usually use the question particle k, which is equivalent to how many, as in kejon, kekhon, keita, kejupa, and kedal. Here is a simple dialogue between an enumerator and a homeowner in which we can see the use of some basic numeral classifiers. The enumerator says, Namaskar Mohahoy, which means Namaskar Sir. Here, Mohahoy is equivalent to Sir, whereas Mohahoya is equivalent to Madam. The homeowner also says, Namaskar Mohahoya, which means Namaskar Madam. And he continues, Apuni kun janibo parune, which means may I know who you are. Here we have a sequence of two verbs. Jan means know and par means can or may. Ne is a question particle that makes the sentence a question. Thus the clause janibo parune means may I know or may we know. Then the enumerator replies, Nishoy, moi ejon piolkari, mur nam Nilima. That means, sure, I'm an enumerator. My name is Nilima. Here, piolkari means enumerator. The homeowner greets her and says, Bohok means please have a seat. The enumerator thanks the homeowner and starts. Mohahoy, apunar nam ki? That means, sir, what is your name? The homeowner tells, Mur nam Konkon Kakoti, which means my name is Konkon Kakoti. The enumerator keeps asking, Apunar poriyalot keigoraki hodoisyo ase? That means, how many members are there in your family? Here, poriyal means family and hodoisyo means member. The homeowner replies, Amar poriyalot 4 jon hodoisyo ase, which means there are 4 members in our family. Then the enumerator wants to know about some objects of his family and asks, গৰু ছাগলীও আছেনে? That means, do you have cattle and goats too? He replies, হয়, আমাৰ 3টা গৰু আৰু 2টা ছাগলী আছে. Which means, yes, we have 3 cattle and 2 goats. The enumerator asks again, আপোনালোকৰ কেইখন গাড়ী আছে? Means, how many vehicles do you have? The homeowner replies, আমাৰ এখন 4-চকীয়া আৰু 2খন 2-চকীয়া বাহন আছে. That means, we have 1 4-wheeler and 2 2-wheelers. Here, the words 4-চকীয়া and 2-চকীয়া are loan translations of English 4-wheeler and 2-wheeler respectively. The enumerator then asks, আপোনাৰ ঘৰৰ চৌহদত থকা গছ-গছনিৰ হিচাপ দিবচোন? That means, please give me a rough estimate of the plants in the compound of your house. Here, চৌহদ means compound or yard. গছ-গছনি is the collective term for plants and হিচাপ means account or estimate. The homeowner tells, নিশ্চয়, 4জোপা আম গছ, 10জোপা নাৰিকল গছ, 7জোপা অমিতা গছ, 40জোপা তামোল গছ আৰু 1জোপা লিচু গছ. That means, sure, 4 mango trees, 10 coconut trees, 7 papaya trees, 40 betelnut trees, and a lychee tree. Until this point of the dialogue, we have come across the appropriate usages of some of the basic classifiers in Assamese. Interestingly, classifiers also co-occur with demonstrative pronouns as in এইখন গাঁও means this village. সেইজন ছাত্ৰ which means that student. With interrogative pronouns as in কোনটো বস্তু which literally means which thing, and with indefinite pronouns as in কোনোবাজন মানুহ which means somebody. This will be discussed in the class on noun classifiers as their function is close to that of noun classifiers. I hope you have now learned how to use numeral classifiers in Assamese. We will be back very soon with another important aspect of learning the Assamese language. Until then, ধন্যবাদ.